Here we go. Here we go with our live stream. How is everybody doing today? We're going to get started here real fast, and we're getting up and running. Good to see everybody here. Glad that you could come in. I'm just going to keep talking as people are here when they're not here, because that's going to help out. Welcome. This is going to be just a live chat that we're going to be doing. Make sure you subscribe so you can get all the content of as we go. Definitely going to be looking into a lot more topics of dealing with funding, retirement, working with your kids, funds, and what to expect from all this. Definitely, a lot of things, a lot of topics, a lot of different things that can come up. This is not to make what the psychology behind, do I help my kids, do I not, am I doing that? That's not what this is for. This is about supporting them, making sure that you've got things going for your kids and you got the funds where to put it. And I use Fidelity, but is there any other place that works real well? You're not looking for, you don't want it in a simple savings account. Maybe a high yield account works good, so you have access to it. I like using Fidelity for that way. If I use my regular funds to support them, then I can transfer the money, but it takes a couple of days, so it's not like I can use emotion. So I get a little time frame to kind of stop and see what they're asking about. So, what is okay to support. My personal thing is what I would support. If they needed help with cars, or they needed if they needed rent payment, or things like that. But it's also life lessons. I remember when they were 5, and they wanted, you went into the grocery store, went into Walmart, and you wanted to help your kids, but they were like screaming for a toy, and it's like, no, you can't have that toy. I'm not giving that toy to you. I'm not buying that toy for you. And if you want to do that, we'll work out where you can do some chores, but we're not talking about those things as an adult. I'm just talking about, I want to help my kids, but things that I definitely wouldn't support if they're going on a trip to Europe and they need spending money, or if they needed money for their passport, or they needed they wanted some money for a phone, for a chip, another card that they could use, or Wi-Fi or whatever for over there, or disposable phone. Yeah, that's things that keep them safe, things that keep them, typical parent looking out for them kind of stuff. But and things like that. But it's a way where I don't even think I'd really tell them that I've got this fund. So if they stumble across these later on, they won't know, because I'm not going to say exactly, and there isn't a whole lot of money in there right now, but we're just going to grow it over time. And if they need diapers for their kids, or they just have a week or something like that they need, that's one of those things that we'll definitely work with. Hello, hold on one second, just checking my mic. Okay, something's on there, just making sure. How's everybody doing? Let's see. Okay, there we go. And I'm just kind of like getting this set. So this is the first one. Hope everybody enjoys this. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get more content. Now, Fidelity is a good place to get started with, and there's a couple of formats that work well, so you can get a good high percentage. You want to definitely have large cap. You want small cap funds, and index funds are the best to get your money into. And with Fidelity, it's nice if you just have it like an open account, because it doesn't cost you really anything. You just transfer money in as you're able to, once a month, whatever you kind of want. But this is a secondary account, so you definitely take care of your stuff first. take care of all the stuff that you need to do, and then put that aside. But the nice thing about this account is that if something comes up and I'm having, it's Christmas, or things always happen at the worst possible times. You're going out of town, you're taking a trip yourself, and all your funds are caught up, or you're helping yourself. You're fixing your own stuff. You got car trouble or whatever. Then all of a sudden, that's when your kids are going to call, and that's kind of what it's for. Is just a buffer. To kind of go over. It's not a way to get rich, and it's not your retirement for them. It's not a college fund. That is definitely for sure. It's if you said you're going to work with your kids for college, and that's it's not the same thing. It can be. You can start setting money aside for like that next year, or like after they graduate, helping them with something. But it just depends on how much money you've got and what you're doing. So, and your own personal experience. If you're one of those retired people that you're working with your kids and you're involved in your kids, or you're not, that's totally a totally different subject. That we're not talking about that. So I'm just sorting this out. So figuring out how to talk about this, and where the boundaries are is it's kind of liquid. By doing this, it's not getting stuck in. Well, I had this situation with my daughter, or I had this situation with my son. For listening to other people and giving them advice on that, it's, well, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about this? If you do help them, does it hit you? And it's that how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're helping and feel good about it, or do you feel trampled on? Do you feel like you're kind of forced into it? And they're adults now, so that is a whole psychology of dealing with grown-up kids and the shift. And I've noticed one of the biggest things that I've done is I don't give advice anymore, or try not to. I notice that as I'm talking with my kids, I do like shift the focus, or try to like angle things to get them to trip where they're almost asking. It sounds like they're asking, so then it's like, well, since you're asking, but with and I can give them advice, but giving advice is not what I'm here to do, and that's not what I want to be doing. I'm just here to focus on them and get going. You'll notice that my background is, I'm looking at my background right now, and it's collective. This room used to be a garden, hot room, and so we've got an air conditioner in it, and it's red, and it's not exactly the color I like, but that's another thing, is that I'm going to be moving, buying a house after a while, and from that, definitely not cheap here in Colorado. A house that used to cost 15 years ago was worth $65,000, is now $400,000. So it's like, wow. Costs have increased, but so is pay. Pay back then was whatever, $9 or something for a spot. Now it's not a huge lot more, but and that's the thing, is how do you navigate going through this world financially at the same time that your kids are. Come here. Hold on, I got a buddy. Come here. Come here. Come here. You want to come up? Come here. Okay, never mind. My dog just is whimpering at me for attention. But index funds for the Fidelity. Going back to that, index funds are the best. And just use a standard account with Fidelity. You can also do a high yield in there, and you get 4% right now. If with the AI stuff, if it's when it stops and they stop putting money into AI, and everything kind of comes down to normal. Who knows where the market's going to be at, or if we're setting into a recession. But it's another thing to kind of help out that as you're on a fixed income, or you're getting your amount is coming and going with that. It really just helps out, so that way you don't get hit especially when you get to that end of the month and it's a little light. As far as grocery prices, gas prices, special trips, Murphy, is out there, and that's just what this is going to be about. So I don't really see anybody showing up. So hopefully later on, when this thing turns into a place to take a look at, go ahead and look at it. You notice I'm not smoking my cigar yet because I'm not outside. I'm not allowed to smoke inside. If I did, I'd probably get killed. So I don't want to do that. But this is definitely something that we're taking a look at. And I hope everybody has a good day. Thank you. Yes.